Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. This episode I'm working on my talon again. I had got the Hess i-4wd drive bypass switch. Talked to them at Hess and he explained to me what the function of the switch is, and a lot of people don't realize what Honda's done to their i-4wd drive and why he designed the switch to bypass it. And a lot of people get it because they want to run in mud, and they put portals on them, big old tires, 35-inch tires. I wanted it because where I live in eastern Kentucky and next to West Virginia, you know, on the Hatfield-McCoy trails, and we've got now here in Pike County, hillbilly trails. It does good going up the mountain, the rocky trails. I don't do a lot of rock climbing, but the trails are very steep and rocky, and it does fine going up. And it's when you start down the trail that the i-4wd drive starts causing the talon to not steer right. It's trying to activate the brakes and trying to downshift. And it's almost dangerous at times when you're on a steep trail going down and you all of a sudden got to turn or miss a tree. And I just turn the four-wheel drive off while I'm going down the hill. And he said there at Hess that was the first time he had heard about going down, and he understood what it was trying to do. You're holding the brakes and the front wheels are going slower than the back wheels, and the machine's trying to compensate. So my thinking is you run both switches on going up the hill, and you're using your i-4wd drive, and then when you start back down the hill, just turn your i-4wd drive off and leave the bypass switch on. And the bypass switch, all it does is engage the drive shaft clutch to lock the front differential to the back differential. That's its only function. So you've got three-wheel drive all the time. The i-4wd drive, they don't really explain it enough in the manuals, and the guys at Hess explained it to me like this. It's like a car. Honda put it in and they kind of labeled it wrong. You know, when you buy a car, a crossover SUV or SUV, it's called all-wheel drive. And that is computer controlled all the time. If you get into a slippery situation, it will engage the four-wheel drive and then disengage it. At that moment, you need it. And it will engage the brakes on the wheels to keep the front end pulling, and it will, the talon, it will retard the timing to cause the machine to bog down. It will slip the clutches in the back in the transmission. It will, you know, it's engaging your brakes. And he said he noticed a lot of that in the mud. The guys that gets in the mud, that's what's going on. They're bogging down and can't get out, and they notice when they turn their i-4wd drive off, that it's got all kinds of power and it wants to go. And then they don't explain that to you, and the average person probably don't understand it to what it's causing your machine to do, and it's getting you in a dangerous situation. Out in the middle of a mud pit, yeah, there ain't no danger there. But where we're at, on the side of these steep mountains in a mountainous trail, you don't want that machine taking your abilities away from you and causing you problems. And if you come to a stop, you're over with. I mean, you got to keep going. So I've seen some posts and guys didn't really understand the i-4wd drive. I didn't know that till I talked to these guys, because I got the switch. And I said, okay, it's got more wires in it than I thought, you know. These plugs here. Okay, you got your switch. You got some instructions. You cut the zip tie off. Okay, now this plugs into the back of the switch. Okay, and you've got a long one, a short one. These might be the same length. Let's see. Well, there's one a little bit longer. He said the long one goes to the differential. The shorter one goes to the accessory plug that's mounted in the frame. And you just unplug that accessory plug. Because I asked him, I said, I've got stuff on mine. Let's see if I can pick you up and take you over there. Now I've got a lot of, mine's busy. It's got a lot going on here. I've put a lot of stuff in this machine. But right here, you can see it right here. That's your blue Honda plug. And I bought the pigtail and I run it to my main accessory relay. And when you turn the switch on, it turns this accessory bar and powers up the winch and all these relays I've got over here mounted. So he said just unplug that and plug that in between them, plug it back together, and that powers the switch up, and then you'll run the other one. Oh yeah, way down here. I'll have to find it. Down here. That wire there probably. I'm going to mount the switch. Let's see, I've got switches here. I love this stuff. Works great. Even bought their cover. And this I never use. I just use both feet. I don't fool with that. If I'm stuck on a hill, I'll hold foot on the brake and one on the gas and take off. I thought, well, I'll just take this out and stick this right there in its place. So I popped it out, and it's twice, the Honda switches are twice bigger than these are, these aftermarket, you know, switches that you get. And made completely different. So you ain't going to buy a switch to replace these. You'll have to buy Honda stuff. So put that back in. This plate I bought to hold the switches. So I guess I'll be taking this plate right here off this Super ATV and turning this thing sideways. Like that right there. And mounting it in there. So that's what I'm going to start on. I'll give you an update as I go. I've got an update. I've been down here working on this. I just, you know, I said I was going to put it right here. I ain't going to fool that. I'll leave that alone. There's a lot of wire and stuff in there. So I decided to just mock this up. I'm going to put it right here. I'll cut that with a razor blade. That razor blade will just sink right through that plastic and take your time, and it makes a good square straight cut. You just pop the switch straight in, and where that area is back in there, there it is back in there, if you can see it or not. Can't show it to you. I was wanting to show it to you. It's a easy place to get the wires through and to come out here and access in and then go on down to the differential. And I use a piece of cardboard like this, it's thin stock. Cut it out and it fits perfect. And I use this. I took that over and put it square where I wanted it and traced it. I'll give you another update later. I got it. I don't want to pop the switch down in there, but it's there. It is. It's gonna fit good. Now here's how thick that plastic is. And when you use a razor blade, take your time. It cuts it out nice and smooth. This is the kind of blade I used. I like this little thing. I have to run out more blades. I need to get more blades. But it eats right through this plastic. You just take your time. It's a pretty hard push. But it cuts it out perfect. Okay, reading my instructions. I can get over top of it so you can see it. If you want to stop it right there so you can read what it says. But it's talking about the red and black wires. This is the shorter one. See, this is about a foot longer. This one will go to that connector right there. And I'll have to put an extra slack somewhere. So this one they call the T harness. The red and orange goes down to the differential. And you unplug the differential wire and plug it in, and then plug this in the differential. And do something with your slack. Won't be much slack time you get it down there. Okay guys, this is how I'm trying it. I jacked it up. I didn't take the wheel off, I just turned it. Now that I got a light in there, I can see there's a cover. And I got them both out. I had to use needle nose on this bottom one, but the top one I used my tool. See? The bottom one I end up pulling it plumb out with the needle nose pliers. Wet inside. Oh, there she is. This is the green one. Alright, I just wanted you to see that. I'm going to get my cable routed down through here. Okay. I finally got it. You can see, I think you can see, yeah, right there, how it goes together. Now, it took me a minute to get that green plug apart. Now that tab on that green plug, you got to pull that out away from, out toward you, and then pull the inner socket out of it. That's the way the clip's made. I used this thing, if you can see it or not. I stuck it down in there and pulled it, and then I reached up in there and it popped out. It was a fight to get it loose, you know, full of mud, sediment of course, but that's got it. And I ran it. This is it right here. I ran it across to the brake system and then down. You might not be able to see that. Hold on. Get the flashlight up here. Yeah, right here it is. See it? I ran it over. I follow this gut lead over to this frame, and then I'll zip tie it down this frame rail, and then there's a cross member down here, and there's a hole in it right here behind the rack, and drop straight down to where it's at down there behind that bracket that's holding them plugs. That way when I put my cover back on, it'll all be tucked in back there, and the drive shaft ain't nowhere around it. And, you know, get the zip ties out and zip tie all that. And this is it right here. I'm going right here. Right here. Now it's stretched the way where I put my switch, you know, over there next to the steering wheel. I used every bit of it. But that's got it hooked up. I've got this coiled up. I got my plug put together. And it don't want to lock. I probably bought that right there. That probably came from off-brand website. They don't have the right kind of lock on it. But I'm going to put this down here and zip tie it to where it can't come out. It can't come back out like that. And then I'll zip tie my coil wire down. That'll have it. Okay, I've got it all put together and zip tied, tucked out of the way. Still got it jacked up. I can get over here and flip the switch right here. Turn the key on so it gets its power. You hear me flipping the switch? See it? It connects that quick. And it stays connected. And it's got some limited slip in it. Flip the switch back off. See, it's wanting to go the same direction. It's got some in it, not much. i-4wd drive won't do nothing till it's running. It does that blinking stuff. I've done started it up. It works. You can use either one or both of them together. I can hear that clutch going in and out down there. But like I say, when I'm going up the mountains, I'll just flip this on. And I get into a spot, I get hung up, and then wheels are spinning. Hit this, get me through that spot, flip it back off. And it gives you the ability of the machine, like it's running in two-wheel drive. It don't govern the brakes. It don't burn your brakes up. It don't slip the clutches. It don't retard the timing. And you've got, you know, three-wheel drive, but I believe it'll be 99% of the time no problems. Let me turn my rock lights back off. Until you get in that one little predicament, and then all you gotta do is run that till you through it and then turn it back off. And like I said, the only reason I've done it is to get me down the mountain and still have that front end engaged, because it gets pretty hairy sometimes going down through them rocks. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe and like. I appreciate you guys. I'll have more coming. Thank you.